Good afternoon, all you Facebook and YouTube users out there. We've got a new dish to try this afternoon. I have some ribs in the oven, some spare ribs cooking, and we're going to have those for dinner along with this soup that I'm going to make. We've got a problem with sinks wanting to back up, so we'll do the best that we can and use as less water as we can. So anyway, today's recipe is another Persian dish, and I want to share it with you. I've never made it before, so we're in this together, but it is called Aashe Doogh. Aashe Doogh. And it is, according to the recipe, a delectable yogurt-based Persian soup. So, just says we need to try it. It's authentic, bursting with delicious flavors. Let me just share some of the flavors. We've got this yogurt, and we're going to make tiny little meatballs to go in it. And there'll be some rice in it, basmati rice, and some cilantro, some parsley, some green onion, some garbanzo beans and some white beans, and garlic. And sounds interesting to me, so we're going to give this a try. I may even throw in some recipes online. They'll garnish with a little bit of dried mint, so I bought some yesterday. And we're going to give this a try and see what we get. Alrighty, so I'm going to gather up all the ingredients, and we'll be back in just a bit. Alright everybody, so for this recipe I've got some ground beef, onion, salt, pepper, white beans, so I'm using Great Northern, garbanzo beans, an egg, 2 whole heads of garlic, some basmati rice, and this is the yogurt that we're going to use. In Persia, they call this doogh, D-O-O-G-H, dough or dough. And I had to go to a market, to a Persian market here in Tucson called Babylon Market. It's not too far from me to get this. According to what I read online, this is a very, very tart yogurt. So, and they'll drink it on ice with just a little bit of spices or flavorings added to it. So that's about it. I'm going to go ahead and get everything ready to go, and I'll be back when we are ready to start this process. Alright everybody, so we're back. Got everything measured out. The recipe called for 2 heads of garlic, not 2 cloves, 2 heads. So I got 2 heads of garlic peeled, and then I chopped them very thick. Very kind of thick, which the recipe calls. And the person who did the video on this said, do not, if you can't handle garlic, that's fine. You can leave it out. But she really suggests do not skimp on the garlic. And it's added at the very end for the most strong flavor. So I've got everything. The recipe called for half of an onion pureed. So this is what I've got. And I used a box shredder to accomplish that. So I also have over here my food processor, 1 large bunch of parsley, curly or flat, it doesn't matter. 1 large bunch of cilantro, and 1 large bunch of green onions. Just I removed the roots, so I just have the green part. And I put that all in the food processor, and we're going to grind that all up real good. I drained the garbanzo beans and the white beans, poured them out of the can into a strainer and rinsed them off real good. So we're almost ready to get started on this. I'm going to go ahead and try to chop up this cilantro, parsley, and green onions here. So let's see what we get here. Let's see here. In the food processor, add the cilantro, the parsley, and the green onions and chop well. You can use leeks if you want to, Persian leeks if you can find them, but green onions will work just fine. So we're going to try to chop these well. That's what I thought, too much. Let's try pressing it down a bit. And you got a spoon to kind of stir it up. Loosen it up just a bit. I put these in here, stems and all. There we go. We're getting there. Back in there. This all very well chopped. Especially those stems. We want those stems to almost be non-existent. We're getting there. Smells heavenly, folks. Smells. You ever made a pesto at home? It smells like a pesto without garlic right now. Stop. I think there's a couple more pulses and we're done. And there we go. Go ahead and take the chopper blade out. We're just going to set this aside. Now I'm going to combine my ground beef with the onion. And I'm just going to use my hands, folks. There's a big chunk of onion that I don't want. Get all this done ahead of time, because once we put this yogurt in the pot and start heating it, you can't stop stirring it until it comes to a boil. Okay, so there's that. Let me take a little break here and put some of this stuff in the dishwasher. Alrighty, so I don't know if you guys have noticed so far, but I've not put these glasses on. Went to the eye doctor yesterday, and yeah, the prescription had changed. She looked at my old prescription, and I told her the problems I was having, that even with my contacts I was having to put readers on to see. And she said, well, yeah, that's possible, because your old prescription is typical of what I see in a 50-year-old, and you're now 60. I said, well, thanks for the reminder, Doc. And so she did her thing, and yeah, the vision has gotten a little bit worse. Not bad, but she made the adjustments, and I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. I can see clearly without the reader glasses, so I'm glad about that. So let me put this parsley and cilantro and green onions away. And I think, let's see, what else do I need to do? Add the uncooked rice to a small bowl and add the egg to it. Sounds weird, doesn't it? But that is what we are going to do. There's the egg. Add the egg to the rice. We are going to poke it and then just stir it around into the rice. And that's what we end up with, is rice with egg on it. Alrighty. So I think with that we are all set. So this recipe does call for 1 gallon, 3.8 liters of this yogurt. I'm going to make sure that this fits in this pot. Oh, this smells heavenly. You know, it fits in here, but I'm not going to have room to add anything else. So I think we're going to have to bring out the big pot for this. The big pot. So give me just a moment. I was hoping to use the non-stick one for this, but oh well. Alrighty, let's see what I can do to get you a view here. I'm going to line my ingredients up over here. I'm going to put my mixture over here. And I'm going to need a longer handle spoon. Alrighty, there we go. Let's get a longer spoon. So like I said, Doogh, Aashe Doogh is a Persian yogurt drink. So let's see what it says. Add the dough to the biggest pot as it can overflow in the first steps if you aren't watchful. Stove is off at this time. There's just a comment here. If you can't find dough or dough, if you can't find it, you can make your own. You simply take plain yogurt, whole milk yogurt if you can find it, and mix with a little water until you get it to the consistency of milk. Add a dash of salt, or a big dash of salt, and stir it up, and you can use that. All right, so it says add this to the pot. Keep in mind the stove is still off. We're adding the rice with the egg into the pot. For those of you who are going, ew, yogurt soup, I don't think it's going to end up tasting so much like yogurt. Yogurt is just a base. And we're going to stir this until that rice and egg is combined. And it says, okay, it says we're going to turn the stove to high heat. We're going to stir the entire time until it reaches a boil, say about 20 minutes. Once it boils, we're going to continue stirring for 2 more minutes. Then we're going to turn the heat down to medium. So I'm going to get started on this, and we'll see you once this boils and has boiled for 2 minutes. All right, folks, we're back. It has come to a boil and boiled for 2 minutes, and I turned it down to medium heat. So now that that is done, we don't have to stir as frequently. So, and it says add the rest of the ingredients, so I'm going to add my salt and pepper to it and stir that in. You know, when you think about it, yogurt as a base is no more weird than cream. Yogurt is made out of milk, so it's basically a milk-based soup. All right, so there's that. So now it says, little by little while stirring, add the chopped cilantro, parsley, and leeks to the mix. So we don't want to add a whole lot at a time, just a little bit at a time, because we don't want to cool this too far down all at once. It is looking beautiful. I wish you could smell it. It smells so good. All those herbs. All those herbs and the yogurt. All right, we're going to finish this. All right, and now we are to make little meatballs about the size of marbles. And just drop them in the soup. They'll start to pop up and float when they're cooked. So yeah, I went to the eye doctor yesterday, and I must say I have pretty good vision insurance, because they covered a year's worth of contacts and covered the exams, and I also just got a new pair of glasses, some really nice frames, and they're just going to be readers. Just going to give this a stir real quick. The glasses will be just for reading on the days when I don't wear my contacts. So that'll be nice. I wear contacts more than glasses. Always have. I'll never forget the first day I went in to try a pair of contacts. I was a person who said there's no way I can put anything in my eye. It was a nightmare to me if I got an eyelash in my eye. It was a big panic for me. And I said there's no way I'll be able to do it. But I went and I tried it, and they had to put them in for me. And my eyes watered and watered and watered and watered. I wanted to buy a pair of baby blue contacts. And when I first told them there's no way I'll be able to put these in my eye, the girl that helped me said, yes, you will. She said, you won't believe it, but it's usually the people who come in and say, I want contacts. You have problems putting anything in your eye? Oh, no, 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 no. They're the ones who can't do it, not being able to do it. And those who come in and say, there's no way I can do this, are the ones who usually end up being the most successful contact lens wearers. So that made me feel a little better. So I went ahead and ordered the contacts. And when they arrived, it was my turn to put them in. And lo and behold, I did it. I did it just fine. And of course my eyes watered again for a while, because you have to get used to that foreign matter, that's plastic being put in your eyes, folks. And you have to get used to it. And it took a while to get used to them. But we did it. I've been wearing contacts now for probably, I don't know, over 30 some years. Let me wash my hands. ribs are smelling good. My soup is smelling good. And the meatballs are already starting to come up to the top. Let me show you what we've got in the pot. See this wonderful, beautiful soup? It looks so creamy. You can see the little meatballs already rising to the top. We're going to give those a few moments to cook and all rise to the top here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add my white beans and my garbanzo beans. There we go. It's going to be a lot of soup, y'all. A lot of soup. Okay. And now it says allow to simmer for a few minutes and add the garlic a few minutes before serving. To intensify the garlic flavor, add it in, give the soup a stir, and serve about 1 minute later. For a more mellow garlic flavor, add it in, allow the soup to boil for a few minutes, and simmer on medium-low until you're ready to serve. So, alrighty, I'm going to check the status of my ribs. They've got a bit to go yet. Alexa, how much time is left?
You have 33 minutes left on your ribs timer.
Go ahead and put those back in. I'm going to go ahead and turn it up to 350. All right, while this is simmering and we're waiting on the ribs, I'm going to clean the place up a little bit. Be right back. All right, y'all, the ribs are done. So I've already got my ribs plated, and I'm just bringing the soup back up to a small boil. Here's my mint leaves that I bought yesterday while I was at the Persian store. And they smell, oh, they smell so good. So we're going to sprinkle some of those on the top of the soup. And I'm just waiting for it to come up to a small boil here so I can finish adding the garlic and let it simmer for about a minute. So I went and tried to clean up, and because my sinks are backing up, it made it almost impossible, because now, whereas before they would drain enough, fast enough that, you know, it was still a slow process, but they would drain. But now they drain so slow, they start backing up into my dishwasher, and then my dishwasher overflows and floods the floor. So we had quite a mess. We already mopped up a bucket of water off of the floors. I let the apartment manager know again that the guy was here for a second time and tried to fix it and said it was, and I just put in a kind way but in a pointed way, we need to get a professional out here now as soon as possible. So we'll see what happens. I can't wait to try the soup with you together. I'll be back when this comes up to a boil. Alrighty. While we're waiting, this is a lot of soup. I'm not going to be able to eat all of this soup, but we will have some for lunch during the week, and then the rest we're going to put into food saver bags and freeze. Now, it is a cream-based soup, yogurt-based, cream-based, basically the same. So they tend, when you freeze them, they tend to get a little grainy. But there's a way you can use an immersion blender to kind of blend it all back up together and get rid of that graininess. So we'll put the majority of it in the freezer for future use on a cold winter day when, you know, we're in February. We could get another cold spell here. It's taking its dear time coming back up. Turn it up just a little more. I don't want to turn it too high because I don't want it to scorch. By the way, that stirring in the beginning, that was a lot of stirring. Mine didn't boil at 20 minutes. It took it about 25 minutes of constantly stirring. And I'd forgotten what a good workout that is for your arm. I had to keep alternating between right and left arms to keep doing the stirring process. It was a experience, just like if you were making a homemade anything with milk where you have to boil the milk and keep it from scorching, a pudding or a custard. You have to keep stirring all the time. Let me get the ladle and I'll show you what this looks like so far. Look at this, folks. Some wonderful meatballs, some beans, we can review the ingredients again. It was yogurt, basmati rice with egg, salt and pepper, of course the dough, the yogurt, cilantro, parsley, green onions, garbanzo beans, navy beans, and garlic. So yeah, it's a lot of different flavors in there, and we're going to add mint to it. So it's got a lot of wonderful wonderful flavors. It's supposed to be just slightly tart, savory, and refreshing. And we shall see here in just a bit. Come on, boil. Even just bubble a little bit. Okay, I'll come back. Alright, so it's at a slow little boil. So I'm going to go ahead and add my garlic. I'm going to stir that in. Alexa, set a Aashe timer for 1 minute.
Aashe timer, 1 minute, starting now.
You might ask why I said Aash. It's because in the Persian tongue, which is known as Farsi, Aash means soup. Aash means soup. Dough means yogurt. Aashe Doogh. So I got my ribs ready to go. I'll put this over here. Switch to the ladle.
Your Aashe timer is done.
Alrighty. Alexa, stop. So let me get my bowl. And I am going to salt and pepper it. Some more salt. Some more pepper. And a little mint. Stir this around. You can't see in here, but alrighty. I'll move you over here. Here we go. Bottoms up. Going to be very, very hot, so I'm trying to cool it off. Oh, that is so good and rich. Very good and rich. That's a winner. That is a keeper, folks. So I am going to go and enjoy. By the way, it says what I cooked here serves 8. 482 calories per serving. But good calories other than the, well, the yogurt's good for you, other than the ground beef. You know, that might be a little iffy, but you could use really, really lean ground beef if you wanted to. So I'm going to go and enjoy this. You have a good evening. Bon appetit. Remember that life is beautiful. And even when your sink's back up. Okay, so here's some of the recipes I had in mind. Homemade Russian sauerkraut. Sounds like a good thing to try. Pita bread without an oven. Thought that would be good to try. Piroshkis, which is Russian. I also wanted to try Olivier or Olivier potato salad, which is a Russian dish. Russian crab salad. And the Norwegian meatballs, Viking soul food. And finally, galupski, or galupsti. Galupsi, which is a Russian version of stuffed cabbage rolls. All of that is going to be coming up in the near future, folks, because we love to cook and try new ideas and new recipes. All right, have a good evening. We'll see you in the next video.